Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Today on The Young and the Restless, Chance questions Lucy, Claire gets a new job offer, and Nick takes Sharon for dinner. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. At Crimson Lights, Cole is stoked to be ending the night with his two perfect ladies, Claire and Victoria. Talk turns to Katie and Johnny warming up to her being their sister. Cole knew they'd come around. Victoria says they're warming up to him as well. Claire thinks he's a sweetheart. She checks her phone, and Victoria asks if she has plans with Kyle tonight. Claire just needs to get to the craft store. She hugs them and leaves. Victoria says to Cole, "Avo." She noticed their daughter's face tensed up when she mentioned Kyle. Cole thinks maybe Claire put on the brakes. Victoria hopes she didn't sour her against love. Cole asks what she said. Victoria tries to change the subject by buying chocolate chip cookies. But Cole wants to know what she said to Claire. Why would she think her love life would sour Claire on her own? Victoria shrugs that she's had her heart broken many times. She'd hate to see their daughter torn apart like that. Cole doesn't want to either. But this explains why she's not letting herself go in the relationship. Victoria's sure it won't work out very well. Cole hates that her heart was shattered and wishes he'd been there to protect her. If I had my way about it, no man would ever break your heart again. At home, Sharon primps in the mirror. Faith appears and tells her she looks gorgeous. Do you have an important business dinner? Sharon says she's having dinner with her father and he wanted it to be just the two of them. Faith is glad they're connecting. He loves you. We all do. Sharon is feeling the love tonight. She shows Faith some earrings Nick gave her that she's going to wear. Faith thinks she knows what's going on. It's Heather, isn't it? Sharon's eyes widen. Faith reminds her she said her death was a reminder to be grateful for every moment that arrived. Sharon says, exactly. Faith goes upstairs to get a necklace, and Cameron appears. He wonders if Nick knows how much tonight means to her. She says she will when he sees the earrings. Cameron complains they have bigger fish to fry. No one's been arrested in Heather's murder. He's guessing it will be Daniel or her. At Society, Nick greets Tessa and Mariah. He's on his way to get Sharon for dinner, but wanted to know if there are any updates on how she's doing. Mariah reports that she successfully led a meeting at work. Maybe Faith is overreacting. Nick thinks it's better to be safe than sorry. Tess remarks on him being here for his ex. Nick says it's not a hardship taking her to dinner. He leaves and Maria holds her mother has turned a corner. Tessa didn't want to add to her stress. But now that Sharon's getting better, she has bad news to tell her. Tessa tells Maria they need to find a new nanny. Petra is leaving to follow her dream. As they moan and groan, Tessa complains she hasn't seen a nanny in the park who even compares to her. Maria gasps, "Actually, I have." Daniel opens his apartment door to Chance, who asks if he can come in. Daniel asks, "What is it?" Chance says something surprising came up when they tried to trace the location of Heather's phone. Chance takes a call and asks someone to text him that information. After, he and Daniel sit down. Chance wants to confirm he still hasn't heard back from whoever has Heather's phone. Daniel says, not a word. Chance has learned that someone, maybe even Heather, took great pains to use an app to make the phone untraceable. Daniel can't imagine Heather going to those lengths to hide where she was. He asks, "What's next?" Chance would like to talk to Lucy. Daniel tells him it's out of the question. At Sharon's place, Cameron complains about her being sloppy. She reminds him she planted evidence in Daniel's apartment. Cameron scoffs that the cops can't find it if they don't know it's there. She wants to focus on Nick tonight. Cameron warns the cops may already know what she did. They could be slapping the cuffs on her before she gets to the main course. Sharon isn't going to let Cameron do this. Tonight is too important. He disappears when Faith comes back into the room. She's so glad her parents are doing this and are still friends. Sharon tells her daughter they will always be close. A knock comes at the door and Sharon enthuses. That must be my date. She opens the door and Nick is taken aback. She asks, "Is it too much?" Nick says no, she looks amazing. But they're just going for dinner at the club. He didn't dress up. Sharon tells him life is too short, so she's wearing her best. They leave as Faith watches. At Daniel's place, Chance thinks it would be extremely helpful to the investigation for him to speak to Lucy. He's trying to build a timeline of Heather's behavior leading up to that night. Lucy might know something she doesn't even realize is important. Daniel tears up but decides to allow it. Chance assures him if it's too much, he'll stop. Daniel gets Lucy, who greets Chance and asks what she can do to help. At Crimson Lights, Cole assures Victoria they can go as slow or fast as she wants. Just don't push me away. Claire returns for her phone after forgetting it. Victoria invites her to join them for a cookie. Claire gets a text and says she just got an invitation to go meet someone. Not Kyle. She takes off. At Society, Maria warns Tessa to play it cool. She will be able to smell their desperation. Claire walks in and they ask her to be their new nanny. Mariah stammers, Aria's new nanny, of course. They ask if she's interested. Claire totally didn't expect this. Tessa tells her they're really desperate. Mariah clarifies that they still want the best, and Claire is it. Claire asks to think about it. Tessa says Petra's leaving in 2 weeks. They offer her free food and drinks. At the club, Nick hopes this isn't awkward for Sharon. He's completely underdressed. She assures him he looks great. He notices the earrings and can't believe she still has them. Sharon says they remind her of the first time he took her for dinner. Nick can't even recognize the crazy kids they used to be anymore. Can you believe that our kids now are older than we were then? Sharon muses that it went by so fast. They compare notes on their separate bumpy journeys. Nick says they made it. Sharon is really happy where they ended up. She toasts to unexpected outcomes. Sharon tells Nick this was the perfect way to unwind. He has a way of putting her at ease. Nick thinks being back in therapy has helped. Sharon says something seems to be working since she's not crying at the drop of a hat, but tonight was emotional for her. Nick frowns. In what way? She thinks he must feel it too. The comfort of being with someone you have so much history with. She'll never forget how he's looked out for her and Faith these past weeks. He was the wake-up call she needed, the steady hand that led her out of the abyss. Nick points out Faith and Mariah helped too. Sharon doesn't think he realizes how much strength his presence gives her. She hopes she does that for him too. At Daniel's place, Chance thanks Lucy for sitting down with him. He shares that he and her mother were very close once. Daniel tells Lucy that Heather thought a lot of Chance. The cop asks Lucy if her mom did or say anything that gave her the impression she wanted to get away. Lucy says nothing except she asked them to go to Lisbon. She was a brat and told her no. She worries that she was headed there when she fell in the river. Daniel frets as Lucy starts crying. Lucy assures him she can do this. Chance asks if she can think of any other reason her mom may have wanted to leave town. Lucy shrugs. Sharon Newman might have had something to do with it. Sharon went off on them in public. She blamed her for the crash, but Heather defended her and told her to back off. She cries that her mom was just trying to protect her like she always has. Chance asks Lucy if her parents ever fought because her mom wanted to move and her dad didn't. Were they at odds about a possible move? Lucy frowns. Why does it sound like he's trying to blame her dad for what happened? Faith joins Tessa and Mariah at Society. They hope Nick can get a read on Sharon. Faith says it was sweet how excited she got about the date. What if, after all these years, got back together? Faith tells Maria and Tessa that if her dad can help keep her mom from falling down a dark hole, she's totally on board. At Sharon's door, she thanks Nick for inviting her out. It was exactly what she needed. Nick says, me too. He needed it more than he realized. Nick says he's going to go, and then they kiss. Sharon says she shouldn't have done that. She probably misread the moment. Nick tells her she didn't misread anything. They head to the sofa and start making out. Suddenly, Cameron interrupts. Oh, for God's sake, spare me your first love fantasy. Sharon snaps out of it as Cameron says that awkward hug Nick gave her in the driveway was no one's fantasy. The bum didn't even walk you to the door. Sharon argues that he didn't want to push her. Cameron snarks that she can tell herself whatever she wants, but she needs to push pause on the romance novel. She's not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot. At Crimson Lights, Claire rejoins Cole and Victoria and says she needs their advice. She reveals that Maria and Tessa offered her a job as a nanny to Aria. Without a definite start date on the job Nikki offered her, she's thinking she might take it. Victoria thinks that could be happening any day. Cole thinks it's nice to be in demand. Victoria says her father's right. It's about time the world started recognizing her worth. Cole says he's heading back to the club to turn in and leaves. Claire asks her mom if she ruined the mood. Victoria reassures her. They talk about how upbeat Cole is, and Claire asks why her mother doesn't ask him to move in with them. Victoria thinks it's too soon for that. Claire asks, "Still protecting your heart?" Victoria guesses so. Claire notes she didn't say no. At Daniel's place, Chance says he is just trying to paint a picture of what happened in the days and hours before Heather died. He wasn't implying that Daniel was responsible. He wants the same answers they do. Daniel thinks they're all questioned out for now. Chance thanks them and says, "For what it's worth, I really am sorry. No one your age should have to lose a parent." Lucy asks what happens now. Chance says, "One more person to question." At Sharon's place, she hollers at Cameron to stop pushing her. She is finally in a good place. Cameron tells her she needs to finish what she started, or she'll do time. Faith comes in and startles her mother. Faith asks how dinner went, and Sharon says it was wonderful. They hug. Faith says it's good to see her smiling again. Sharon plans on keeping it up. She asks Faith for a favor. "Stop worrying. I'm fine." Faith says goodnight and goes upstairs. A knock comes at the door. Sharon says, "I was hoping you'd be back." But it's not Nick, it's Chance. She asks, "What is this about?" Chance replies, "Heather Stevens." Next on The Young and Restless, Victor comes to Abby's rescue. Nikki gets the upper hand in a negotiation, and Chance interrogates Sharon.